Have you ever wondered what your food truck would look like after you've been open for about 3 months? Well, all this week I'm going to be talking to the owner of the Hippie Gourmet Grilled Cheese Food Company, and he's going to share with us his first 3 months of being open. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportanne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Sure. My name's Ken Bohm. I am the owner of Hippie Gourmet Grilled Cheese, my food truck. We are just west of Chicago, out of St. Charles, Illinois.
So hippie, let's talk about that for a second. That's not a word you'd associate with a food truck. So how did that originate?
Well, we came up with a bunch of names, my wife and I. Originally, the name, I thought about maybe Yellow Submarine, something having to do like a throwback. Have you ever been to a Grateful Dead show?
No, can't say that.
All right. Well, a lot of hippies there. One of the big things that they do at the show is in the parking lot, they used to sell dollar grilled cheeses. So when I came up with the idea for a grilled cheese truck, I'm thinking, well, who eats grilled cheese? It's an inexpensive food. You can travel with it. And I remembered back to going to shows, going to Grateful Dead shows, and then selling grilled cheese in the parking lot. And I thought, we could do something with this. We can, throw that name back. We can keep it simple, but yet, for marketing, we could turn this into something huge with marketing. My truck, it's literally 9 tons of tie-dye rolling down the road. So that's kind of where the name came from.
That's pretty cool. I may not have been a Grateful Dead fan, but I definitely have a hippie throwback. I have the locks.
You got the hair.
Yeah.
You got the locks. You could do it.
Yeah, I was a kid of the 60s. So I remember the long hair. And of course, disco era was when I was a teenager. So I just never really got rid of the long hair. Usually
I had it in high school, and then I'm 47 and it's starting to recede on me.
Yeah.
But no, I was born in 75. That makes me 47 years old.
You're still a youngster.
That's what they tell me.
I was graduating high school in 77.
There you go.
A little bit of a difference, but that's why I have the long hair. I just never could give it up.
I can dig it.
I can still get people that notice it. So they either call me a hippie or want to be hippies. Either way, I don't care. I like long hair.
I'll get people sometimes that come up to the truck and they'll get it, because and I don't know, if you want to get into this now or later, but a lot of the sandwiches that I have are kind of like, I have one that's called the Michelle, and it's a Beatles, the Michelle, the Beatles song.
Right.
One that's the Alpine Valley, which is a music venue up north from us where the Grateful Dead used to play a lot. So I kind of tie that in. So
yeah, there's a lot of food truck owners that pick a theme and try to name their food after different themes. And when people get the theme, it just makes perfect sense to them. Okay, I see why that's named that, and I see why that's named that. So it
gives a lot of people smiles. It makes a lot of people smile.
Exactly. So would you consider yourself to be a full-time owner, or you do this part-time?
Full-time.
Full-time. All right. When did you officially open for business?
Our first gig was late. I think it was the last weekend in August of this year. So I'm still a baby.
How was that first day or first week you were open? How was it?
It was kind of comical. I was nervous. I wanted everything to go right.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered 300 loaves of bread. I ordered, oh my God, I ordered way too much stuff. I overshot it because our first gig is at a local pumpkin farm apple orchard. And, where I live regionally here, that's a huge deal. And I'm talking to the lady, that's in charge of it and getting the food trucks. Oh yeah, we're expecting thousands. And And I'm thinking, oh dear Lord, how much can I fit on the truck? Am I going to run out? I want, because I want everything to go right. I think we wound up that Monday unloading actually more than we loaded on the truck. And, and everything went great. Everything actually went pretty smooth. We fired up the generators, and I'm, going, okay, nothing's breaking. Everything's working. I had, I think it was my two kids on the truck. Well, they're adults, but my kids. Right. And the guy behind me working the griddle. Everything worked. People were happy. But yeah, I was nervous as a cat because I my whole thing is God, are people going to like this? Is this, because I could see it. I could see it in my mind. I could see it working. But I'm not so egotistical to think that, well, if I like it, everybody else is going to like it. That's why I never put too much hot peppers in anything I cook. But yeah, I was nervous, and it worked out, and I came back, and we didn't make a whole bunch of money because there wasn't a whole lot of people there. But at the end of it, I was absolutely thrilled because, there's a little bit of, we did it, everything worked, and there's a little bit of money in the cash drawer. I'm like, okay, here we go. Start walking a little bit. So that's how my first day was.
Oh, that's awesome. So you said you ordered 300 loaves of bread. So how many sandwiches would one loaf of bread do?
You're going to laugh. So out of each loaf we get, depending on how it's cut, because I get all my bread made locally. So the loaves are not always consistent. Right. So I can get anywhere between 8 and 10 per loaf times 300 loaves.
2,400.
I seriously overthought because I didn't even know what the capacity of the truck was. Like, right. Well, how many can we do in an hour? God, I don't know. So let's just overdo everything and hope, pray to the Lord that everything works out. And like I said, it was funny. I came back to the shop and we unloaded more than we loaded, or more than we sold. So that was pretty funny.
Well, it is a good comparison, though. At least you were able to recognize that.
Yeah. And then I went out and I bought freezers. I learned we got to buy, 2 deep freezers, because now where am I going to put all this bread?
Right.
Because it's homemade. There's no preservatives. I use a place. It's literally 3 minutes down the road called Breadsmith. I don't know if you guys have them nationally, but it's all made by hand. There's no preservatives. It's good bread. The problem is that the shelf life, unless you freeze it, is about 4 days.
That's actually not bad. Then typically, like McDonald's or Burger King, they're going to have 3 to 4 day shelf life on their buns too. Once it's delivered, they expect it to be either sold or returned to the bakery after 3 days. So that's So besides grilled cheese, what else do you sell?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it. We've just recently, I take that back. In the past couple of weeks, we've introduced soup. It hasn't gone over super well. And I think it's because of the weather. We've had sort of a warm spell on the weekends 2-3 weeks ago. I think it was just maybe a little too warm for it, but my guy that works my griddle, who would be behind me if I was sitting, I typically sit at the window because I'm the more gregarious, outspoken, talkative one. So Joel, who works the grill behind me, he's actually went to culinary school. He's my neighbor, and he's on every gig with me. And he said, I could make some tomato soup. So I went on the internet and I ordered one of them soup pot warmers, and he made a delicious soup. We rolled it out. People loved it. We just didn't sell a bunch of it. So yeah, all we do is grilled cheese. That's it.
Are there different varieties of grilled cheese?
There are. We have, and I was advised when I first started this to keep my menu simple by other people, other guys that I've talked to on food trucks. Keep it, maybe 5 things, keep it simple so you're not overwhelming yourself. And I did. So the first one that we have is pretty straightforward. It's called the Johnny Appleseed. I get my proteins, my bacon and my ham from a local meat market. They do their own bacon. And I actually get it cheaper than I would at the grocery store. And it's better. So it's bacon, apples, and a white cheddar on a French peasant bread. That one is by far our best seller. That one is miles away. We do it for $14. It comes with a bag of kettle chips and a pickle. All of my sandwiches come with kettle chips, bag of kettle chips, and a pickle spear. I figure it's grilled cheese. Here's, you know what I mean? I want to give you the value for your money. You hand somebody just a grilled cheese for $14, they're going to look at it, probably throw it back at you. Then we have one called the Greg. Greg is the guy that built most of the inside of my truck. I figured I'd have to name a sandwich after him. It's tavern ham with a mild cheddar with a little bit of Dijon mustard. Same bread, French peasant bread. And then we have this one we call the Michelle. It's me trying to make a French onion soup on grilled cheese. So what we do is we take onions, we slice them thin, grill them up with a little bit of balsamic, a little bit of red wine, and we put that with a Munster cheese. And Munster would be sort of the melty substitute for the Gruyere or the Swiss on a French onion soup. That one seems to be very popular. And then we'll do a plain for the kids. We have a plain one. Then we have the Santana, which is pepper jack cheese, few pickled jalapenos, and a sun-dried tomato. People tend to like that one too.
As in a whole tomato, or
they're about the little tiny ones.
Okay.
And I put about 3 or 4 on them and send it off. But that's basically my core menu. I have another one we'll run on a special. It's just ham and Swiss. We call it the Alpine Valley, Swiss, trying to be clever. But that one doesn't do as well as I thought. But I think it's a good sandwich. Yeah, that's basically my menu.
The Johnny Appleseed, what's the hippie reference for that one? Because I got the other.
There isn't one. I couldn't think of anything, obviously Santana, you get all the rest of them. I couldn't think of anything to reference to, a hippie reference or a 60s reference. And my wife goes, just call it the Johnny Appleseed. And I go, okay. All right, that's fine. That's what we'll call it.
Being from that era, that was a reference you'd hear a lot in elementary school for sure. Just the whole story about Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they even talk about it anymore in modern schools.
No, I had to tell my stepson and my kids who Johnny Appleseed was. Okay. But that's okay.
It's a conversation starter for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for listening. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about I Think I Can Do This.
Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.